So what does the full name in Russian consist of? Like in America you have your first name, middle name, and last name. So in Russian we also have first name and last name that work pretty much the same way as in English. But instead of the middle name, we use what we call patronymic name. So let me tell you a little bit about each of these. So the word for the first name in Russian is imя. Imя basically means name, so technically it could refer to your full name, but generally we use it for the first name in Russian. And when you just start learning Russian, of course you're taught that to say my name is, you gotta say меня зовут, which is of course correct, but literally меня зовут means they call me, or me they call. For example, меня зовут Петр means me they call Petr. But of course you translate it as simply my name is Petr. But if you want to use the word imя, you totally can. Except remember that despite the feminine looking ending, the word imя is neuter. So literally my name is Petr would be моё имя Petr. And it's totally correct to say it, except it's much less common than to say меня зовут Petr. And I would say that first names in Russian are more traditional than in English. For example, especially in America, I see a lot of unusual, interesting names that I don't even know how to spell sometimes. So in Russian, they're usually more traditional, a lot of biblical names. For example, common names for boys would be Alexander, Alexei, Andrei, Sergei, Dmitry, Petr, Pavel, Oleg. And then for girls, Maria, Anna, Svetlana, Olga, Tatiana, Irina, and so on. And then last name, so the word for last name in Russian is familia. Yes, guys, be careful. Familia does not mean family. It means your last name or family name. The word for family, by the way, is семья. And for the most part, Russian last names work the same way as in English, except most of the time, female last names would have an additional a at the end compared to the male name. For example, if a guy's last name is Ivanov, then his wife's last name would be Ivanova, and his daughter's as well. Pushkin, Pushkina, Chekhov, Chekhova, and so on. And then finally, patronymic name. In Russian, it's отчество, which comes from the word отец, which in Russian is father. So the patronymic name, or отчество, is basically your father's name in some sort of possessive case. And it would have a slightly different ending for guys and girls again. For example, if your dad's name is Alexander and you're a guy, then your patronymic name would be Alexandrovich, which kind of means son of Alexander. And if you're a girl, then your patronymic name would be Alexandrovna. So if you're filling out a form in Russian and it says FIO, that means they want your full name, familia, имя, отчество. Would you like to know your отчество in Russian? Write your first name in the comments.